Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council and former president, has issued a warning to U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump about the risk of assassination. He suggested that if the Republican candidate were elected president of the United States and attempted to halt the Ukraine conflict, it could endanger his life. In a Telegram post on November 3rd, Medvedev, who currently serves as Russia's Security Council deputy chairman, stated that Moscow holds low expectations for the results of the U.S. presidential election on November 5th, where Trump faces off against Kamala Harris, according to the Russian news agency TASS. Medvedev claimed that for Russia, this election would not change much, as both candidates essentially reflect the U.S. bipartisan consensus that Russia must be defeated. He warned that relations between Washington and Moscow would likely remain tense, regardless of who wins the election on November 5th. Throughout his campaign, the Republican candidate has repeatedly pledged to end the bloodshed in Ukraine swiftly if elected. However, he has not provided specific details on how he would achieve this. Trump's Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris, argues that Trump would essentially force Kyiv to surrender. If Ukrainian President Zelensky and his government do not comply, Trump could potentially suggest cutting off all aid to Kyiv, effectively disarming Ukraine and accelerating its capitulation. Zelensky would be compelled to negotiate with Moscow and might have to cede territory in exchange for peace. However, Western leaders, particularly in the United States, are not eager to see Ukraine defeated by Russia, as it would severely damage the credibility of the U.S.-led alliance. This outcome would strengthen Putin's influence, allowing him to rally more nations to challenge Washington's dominance. Medvedev speculated that if Trump were elected and made serious efforts to end the Ukraine conflict, he could face the same fate as John F. Kennedy, the president who was assassinated in 1963. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov also expressed skepticism about the Republican candidate's ability to halt the conflict overnight, emphasizing that no magic wand exists to accomplish this. Medvedev claimed that if elected, Trump would be constrained by systemic rules and unable to stop the war in a day, in 3 days, or even 3 months. As for Harris, Medvedev described her as inexperienced and easily controlled, asserting that she would likely serve as a puppet for other officials and former President Barack Obama's family members. In an exclusive interview with TASS earlier this week, Medvedev stated that if the West, especially the United States, had shown enough flexibility to reach a security agreement with Russia, there would have been no need for special military action in Ukraine. He argued that the U.S. and its allies failed to realize this due to their tendency to impose their will on others, following the American exceptionalism principle that prioritizes U.S. interests. Trump has faced multiple assassination attempts since announcing his re-election campaign. The first attempt occurred at an outdoor campaign event in Butler, Pennsylvania, where the suspect, Thomas Matthew Crooks, bypassed security walls and positioned himself on a building rooftop overlooking the stage. Crooks conducted reconnaissance using a drone near the event site shortly before the attack. The former president halted his speech after 3 gunshots rang out, ducking as Secret Service agents shielded him. The sniper was ultimately subdued by security forces. Trump survived another assassination attempt while golfing at his Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, on September 15th, an unprecedented event in U.S. election history. Within 2 months, Trump had survived 2 assassination attempts, fueling security concerns and impacting the 2024 presidential race. In a third incident, authorities apprehended a suspect impersonating a VIP and journalist while carrying a loaded gun at a Trump event in California. The suspect, a 49-year-old Las Vegas resident, was stopped at the rally by local police. Authorities found weapons and multiple passports and IDs bearing various names. Following these attempts, U.S. Secret Service tightened security around Trump's campaign events. The New York Times and Washington Post reported that Trump's campaign requested military vehicles and aircraft for added protection. In response, President Joe Biden instructed his administration to protect Trump as though he were an incumbent president, indicating that Secret Service should honor Trump's request for military support if it falls within standard protection guidelines. These incidents highlight the intense polarization in U.S. politics and underscore the high security stakes surrounding Trump's candidacy.